Why don't you tell us your name and a brief introduction about you and your family?
My name is April Crenshaw, and myself, my husband Jordan, and our daughter Nola come here to the table. My first career was as a teacher. I taught high school English, and then my husband and I both worked at a therapeutic boarding school for at-risk teenagers, and then I taught middle school English in Antioch. After I left teaching, I decided to go back to school. I got my master's degree in social work and became a licensed therapist. I read a quote once when I first started teaching, and it said, "The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery." And I've always felt such a special connection between myself and the Lord when I get to be a witness to somebody discovering something. So as a teacher, that was learning how to read or getting to know a new book or character. And then as a therapist, it was seeing the moment when people began to untangle their thoughts and really let go of some of those long-held beliefs that they had about themselves. So I used to believe that being a teacher and then being a therapist was my calling. And so I went to school to be a therapist. I was in the field for about 5 years, and I thought, wow, God has really revealed to me that this is what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life. And then in early 2020, there were a couple of incidents that occurred at my work. It led to some severe anxiety, severe traumatic stress response, and I ended up leaving my job after a couple weeks of dealing with that. And so I was left thinking, what is my purpose? I can't be a therapist anymore. I can't do this work that God, I feel like God has called me to. So I felt like such a failure for having to leave. I felt like another failure because as a therapist, I thought I should have the skill set to deal with these feelings of panic and anxiety and traumatic stress. And so I was very, very lost, not knowing what I should do with the rest of my life. I thought that God had laid it all out for me. And so it's taken a very long time, a lot of healing through some great therapy and medication and prayer and kind of realigning my values. But I'm finding out now that I don't know why these situations that occurred affected me the way that they did, and why I can't go back into that field, that I felt like that's where God called me. But I do remember sitting in church and worshiping and telling God that even if I feel this way every day for the rest of my life, then I'm just going to keep coming here. I'm going to keep worshiping you, because that's all I can do. After our daughter got a little bit older, my husband and I decided that we really both wanted for me to be home with her. When we first made that decision, it was really difficult. It was easy for me when I was younger to identify myself with my job title, to say, well, I'm a teacher. This is who I am. I'm a therapist. This is who I am. This is what I do. I help people. That is my ministry. And then all of a sudden, after becoming a stay-at-home mom, I wasn't able to say that anymore. And God has really used that experience to remind me once again that my purpose doesn't have anything to do with a job title or how much money that I make or what I do day to day. That my purpose is to look at what's right in front of me and to choose truth. So in the book of Micah, God is speaking through the prophet Micah to the people, and all the people of Israel are asking God, what must we do what must we do to be good? What must we do? How must we act? And in Micah, God says, He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. I think of this verse often when I think about the trajectory of my life and what my purpose is, that I might not ever have a big title. I might not ever have a lot of followers. I might not ever write a book. But as long as I live justly and love mercy and walk humbly each day with the Lord, that nothing else matters, that I can find my identity in Him through that. And what I would tell other people whose plans have been interrupted from their perspective or their trajectory has changed is that what God sees is so different than what we see, that we may never know what a season means until we go to heaven. Sometimes we might get a glimpse of it years down the road, but instead of focusing on what something means or the impact that it will have, all we have to do is keep our eyes on Jesus and choose to follow Him every day.
All away.